Welcome to the Proactive Retirement Webinar. My name is Jan Moorman, and I'm a career consultant at Career Management Partners. And the very fact that you're listening to this webinar tells me that you are already considering the prospect of retirement. And how exciting is that? It's the beginning of a new life, and it's an opportunity for you to become the person you'd like to be and do the things you've always wanted to do. Planning, though, is so important in this process. When people think of retirement, oftentimes they just think of the financial aspect of it. But I can assure you, and I'm sure you recognize, that there's so much more to successful retirement than financial planning. You know that most people spend 40-plus years building an impressive nest egg and retirement fund, but they spend absolutely no time at all thinking about how they're going to enjoy their own retirement. And this is a big mistake to concentrate only on the financial aspect, which is why I'm so glad that you're joining me today to talk about the larger concept of what goes into retirement planning. So let's take a look at our agenda today. We're going to talk about how retirement has changed just in the last 10 to 20 years and what it really looks like today. We're also going to be discussing the various retirement options, from full-time retirement to semi-retirement and many other options that you may or may not have considered. And finally, we'll be talking about the 5 W's of retirement planning together. Proactive. What do we mean by proactive retirement? Well, I mean controlling or creating a situation by causing something to happen rather than responding to it after it's happened. So, for example, be proactive in identifying and preventing potential problems, or more relevant to today's webinar, be proactive in planning for your retirement and future. Things have changed in the last 10 to 20 years, and if you think about it, many people think of retirement as a time to withdraw, as for rest or seclusion, or to go to bed. Even though that might sound attractive, actually the vast majority of people don't want to go to bed and want to be doing something a lot more active than that. Many people, it means stopping working entirely. It means perhaps sitting in a rocking chair, and it means going from paycheck to no check. But things really have changed, and let's take a look at that. Today, we're thinking about retirement in many new ways, and this is really called proactive retirement. It's really marked by doing. Baby boomers don't want to sit in that rocking chair and just go to bed. We want to be boomer zoomers. We want to stay active. We've got a lot more years to live than our parents and grandparents, certainly, and we want to fill those years with meaningful activity. We want to work with passion. We have lots of vital years ahead, and we want to live them in a vital, productive way. And we want to go from just accepting a paycheck to a playcheck. Yeah, this is an opportunity to do the things we've always wanted to do: fishing, traveling, spending more time with our kids. So retirement today is much different than it used to be, and frankly, it's a lot more exciting and energizing to think about. So I have a question for you. Are you ready to retire? You might think you are, but really, are you ready to retire? Let's take a look to really consider whether you are or not. Some of the signs that you're not ready for full-time retirement include you have no nest egg. Maybe you're thinking about winning the lottery. You might be hoping for that, but what are the real chances of you winning the lottery? So if you don't have a nest egg, it might be a sign that you're not ready for full-time retirement. What about your best friends or people you work with? You might really be much more connected to work and want to continue those social relationships and friendship relationships, because those are the people that you've really always socialized with and been friends with. That's how you made friends. So that's an important component for you of continuing to work. Perhaps all your social functions are work-related. Maybe your vacations always take a back seat to work commitments, which means that you really like and have enjoyed those work commitments and work activities. You have no hobbies or interests outside of work. Maybe the people in your lives, your spouse and your friends, have encouraged you to take time for hobbies or interests, but you may be like a lot of people that really find work so meaningful and interesting that they really haven't taken the time to develop those hobbies or interests. That could be a sign that you're not quite ready. You may be proud to be a workaholic, and for some people, again, that's where they get a lot of meaning and a lot of their self-esteem from and a lot of their identity from. And workaholics tend to not want to go into full-time retirement. In fact, I remember Lee Iacocca, when he retired, after a year, he said, you know, there are only so many golf courses I can play. And he went back to work after a year. He'd always found work interesting, so he was not going to sign up for full-time retirement. It just wasn't for him. And finally, your spouse has always wanted you to get a life outside of work, but you haven't gotten around to it. Some of you may really identify with that. And again, that really is a signal that full-time retirement, absolutely going from full speed to doing very little, may not be for you. Individuals without hobbies and other interests outside of work are poor candidates for full-time retirement. So then, if you're not quite ready for full-time retirement, what are some of the options? Let's take a look at some. Full-time retirement are for those who are looking forward to starting a new, exciting chapter of, frankly, doing exactly what they want to do. They know what lifestyle they'll need and how much money they'll need to support it. So they have the financial resources, and they've done the mental exercises and planning to know what that full-time retirement is going to be about and be full of. Semi-retirement, though, are for those who want a freer lifestyle and still enjoy the positive aspects of having a job. What my research has told me is that the vast majority of people today, baby boomers today, actually are going to choose more semi-retirement, not only because they've enjoyed working, but because they have to work financially. They have to work. So just know you are not alone if you fall into that semi-retirement candidate, that semi-retirement option. So the reasons to opt for full-time retirement is that it allows you to stop doing what someone tells you to do and start doing what you want to do. It's the perfect time to become the person you'd like to be. You can celebrate retirement in the beginning of a new life, and you have many years ahead to enjoy life and be productive. The life expectancy in the U.S. now for men is 73 and 79 for women. So if people retire at 55 or 60, they have many years ahead to enjoy life and be productive. But I do think the vast majority of people are going to opt for semi-retirement, but there will be those of you who will opt for full-time, and these are some of the reasons to do it. Rutgers University study found that 76% of baby boomers want to retire before age 60, but only 29% think they'll have enough money. So if you fall into that category, trust me, you are not alone. There are lots more baby boomers out there that simply are going to have to work for the income. Semi-retirement will allow these workers to experience the benefits of early retirement with a much smaller nest egg because of the supplemental income they'll be earning in their part-time job, new business, or perhaps even starting their own business, and also some of the benefits that might come from that new job as well. So what does semi-retirement really mean? Well, let's take a look at the options. Self-employment, for some folks, this is a perfect opportunity to start their own business. And for those of you who are interested in starting your own business, we actually have a Starting Your Own Business webinar, which you might be very interested in hearing, and it's actually taught by the president of Career Management Partners, Joe Frodsham, who has started many businesses and consulting groups, and he'll have a lot of good information to share with you about self-employment options. Another resource for self-employment is, of course, the SBA, or the Small Business Administration. I encourage you to go online and look up the SBA to see all of the resources that are available for any of you who are thinking about starting your own business. As you probably know, 80% of businesses fail in the first year, so it's really good to get the wisdom and expertise of those people at SBA who are true experts in self-employment to help you develop a business plan, marketing ideas, financing strategies, and so on. So take our webinar that we offer through our Career Workspace site, or talk to the SBA, who have a variety of resources for those people who are thinking about that. Another option is part-time work. Yeah, a lot of people think, you know, I have been working that 8 to 9 hour a day job, and this is an opportunity just to cut back on my hours, to work part-time, maybe just a part of every day. It could be from 8 to 12 or 1 every day, or it even could be 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Companies today are much more likely to offer those part-time jobs, job sharing positions, and even flex time positions. Companies today really do offer a variety of work options. So I encourage you to think about part-time work. For others, consulting, lending your expertise to organization and really putting out your shingle as a consultant really might be an excellent strategy and idea for you. And just to let you know, I've been doing consulting now for the past 25 years, and it offers me a wide amount of freedom, which I love. It gives me the opportunity to work with the clients and organizations that I choose to work for and with. And it also offers me the opportunity to make as much, or frankly as little money as I would like as a consultant. And so I would invite you to reach out to me and talk with me about consulting opportunities and what it's like. Also, your own career consultant at Career Management Partners. We are all consultants, and I would encourage you to reach out to your consultant and ask them about what the highs and lows for consulting have been for them. And I think you might get a good insight about it from them. You also might want to consider contract work, and frankly, a lot of positions today are offered by companies on a contract basis. For example, many companies will hire folks for a 3-month contract and then decide at the end of 3 months if there is a potential for going full-time. And you're going to see a lot more of that today in the world of work as you move forward. And I encourage you to take a look at contract work or part-time work. And this allows you to work maybe over a holiday period. A lot of retail jobs are contract jobs over the holiday season, but then they will end after 2 to 3 months. And for some people, that's perfect. They like the opportunity to go in to work for a short few months and then take breaks between their contract work assignments. So I encourage you to take a look at that. And obviously temporary work fits in there as well. Job sharing is something that some companies are willing to do, where you'd actually share a position with another person. So you might want to explore that as a possibility. And finally, community service. There are opportunities in most, if not all, nonprofit organizations and community organizations to work with them. And I would look for volunteer opportunities as well as perhaps paid opportunities to continue working. So those are all things that could include semi-retirement. The what, why, where, and when of retiring. What we're going to be talking about next is following the 5 W's outline. And we've already discussed you as the who, so now it's time to discuss what, why, where, and when next of how we're going to be thinking about retiring. First question is, what will I be doing? Second, why will I be doing this kind of work or activity? 3, where will I be living? And 4, when will I be doing it? Let's take a look at each one of these because they're so important in thinking in a full way about retirement planning. What will you be doing? For a lot of people, this is a huge issue and can be a real stumbling block for people. Many of my clients will tell me, I just don't know what I want to do. I would retire, but I just don't know what I would do with my time. Well, you're not alone, and I want you to know that we have an assessment of values, interests, and passions called the VIP, and we're going to talk about the assessments that we can offer you through our Career Workspace site and also through our retirement workbook that's going to give you insight into those very important values, interests, and passions that will help direct you to what you should be doing next and what you want to be doing next. We're also going to be helping you with the assessment of transferable skills and qualities, and that's going to be in helping you develop a resume. Even if you plan to fully retire, and certainly if you're going to semi-retire, a resume is going to be important, and that's an important service that your career consultant can help you with. So I encourage all of you to take those assessments on your values, interests, and passions, and also get that resume done so that you'll know what your best skills and qualities are. Expressing your VIP. This is liberating you from the work you must do to the work you want to do. And finally, it's important to have that well-articulated goal and action plan to really make those dreams come true for you. So let's begin with step 1, the assessment of values, interests, and passions. What makes you unique? Well, all 3 of these circles really make you unique, but I want you to take a look at that bottom left circle, the values piece. And your values are really what you consider to be important. These are the things that motivate you, that are the standards and principles that you live your life by. The values that you hold today might be very different from the values you held in the past. Values today could be more leisure time, much more work-life balance, the value to spend time with your family and friends. Value could be travel, or a more challenging opportunity or position. So we could offer you a values assessment through our Career Workspace site, and I encourage you to get clarity on what your values are today versus what they were when you started the world of work. Secondly, at the top are your interests. What are your interests today? What are those things that captivate your imagination? Is it maybe a new hobby? Maybe it's to go skydiving, like our former President Bush did when he was 80, and I think he continues to do it every birthday. But but what are your real interests today that really might give you insight into what it is you might want to do next in retirement? We have an interest profiler inventory on our Career Workspace site that I would encourage you to take to, again, find out a little bit more about your interests. And then passions. These are the things you can't live without. They're just short of an obsession. And all of these coming together are crucial to the decision-making process, telling us who it is and what we want to be when we retire. So there is a life values inventory that you can also take online besides the one that we have on Career Workspace, and you can use this link. It's www.lifevaluesinventory.org. Values form your own personal truth from which self-esteem, fulfillment, and resilience develop. And I would encourage you to take this. I think you'll find it very interesting, and I think it will give you and your career consultant a lot of insight about what motivates you today. Your interest. Again, you can take our interest inventory on Career Workspace, and it's going to help you explore broad interest areas. And then finally, passions. These really can be reflective questions. And if you get access, and if you ask for access to our retirement workbook, your career consultant can help you acquire one. Turn to page 60, and there are numerous questions which are in that workbook which will help you really drill down to what are your key passions or obsessions, those things that we just can't live without in our life. An example of that for me is music. And in fact, tonight I'm going to be going to a concert of Handel's Messiah. Music just feeds my soul, and it's something that has been a part of my life since I was a little girl, and I will continue performing and going to musical events because it just gives me such joy. It is a huge passion in my life, and a life without music would be a life almost not worth living for me. That's how important it is for me. Journaling exercises also can help you become aware of your passions. And so I would encourage you maybe to begin journaling what your thoughts and secret desires are, which could give you insight into your passion. And also you can discuss this with your career consultant. That's what we're here for as well. So step 2 is to assess those transferable skills and accomplishments. Optional, it's if you are going to be fully retiring perhaps, but it's important if you intend to work part-time or full-time, and you're going to need a resume, a LinkedIn profile, and certainly learn how to network and learn how to interview. So if you plan on doing any work at all, community or paid, part-time or full-time moving forward, these tools are going to be important. And again, talk with your career consultant about these. Step 3 is expressing your VIP, those values, interests, and passions, and liberation from work you must do to, again, work that you're going to enjoy. Someone once told me, if you're a lion and you try to be a lamb, you're going to be a really lousy lamb. So you must be true to yourself. None of us will ever accomplish anything excellent or commanding except when he listens to this whisper, which is heard by him or her alone. That's by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and isn't that so true? Now it's time to take charge of your life. And notice these people taking charge, they're all smiling, and they should be, because you're taking charge and control of your future, and that brings excitement. Step 4 is well-articulated goals and action plans must be developed if you have these dreams, but you don't make them actionable, they're not going to happen. So what do we mean by actionable? Well, goals should be SMART goals. They should be specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-oriented. If not, they may never occur. So, for example, if you decide to take a computer course, you need to define what course you're going to take, where you're going to take it, when you're going to take it. All of those steps in the SMART process will help that dream of taking a computer course come true. And then someone forgot in this SMART goal another important M word, which is meaningful. The goals you select should be meaningful to you. They don't have to be meaningful to anyone else, but should be meaningful to you, and that will make them all the more likely to be pursued by you with energy and to be achieved. So please make them meaningful as well as SMART. So the remaining what, why, where, and when of retirement, why equals our passions, values, and interests. Why do we want to do that kind of work? Because they're part of our VIP. They're part of our personal values, interests, and passions in life. That's why we want to do the work and the activities that we have identified. Where will I be living and doing this kind of work? Yeah, this is an opportunity for you to decide, do I want to continue living in my current house? Or maybe as part of your financial planning, you actually decide that you want to downsize and sell your home and maybe move to a cheaper location or move into an apartment or a retirement community. It might be an opportunity for you to consider maybe moving to a different city, maybe to a different state where employment opportunities are better, or maybe the weather is better. It could be even a different country. Why put limits on yourself when you're thinking about all of the options for where you want to live and lead that meaningful life that will incorporate perhaps semi-retirement, continuing to work, but in a geography, a place, a location that you love the geography? I encourage you to think about that. And then finally, when? When will I be doing it? When is it that you plan on making this leap into retirement? Taking this webinar will give you plenty of things to think about, and then you can methodically plan for when you want to actually go into full retirement or semi-retirement. So the who, the what, the why, the where, and the when of retirement are all important components in planning a meaningful retirement. Remember, it's your choice. Can you guess what movie this is from? Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, where every day is the same until he gains awareness. It's a great movie, but it is your choice to gain the awareness that you need to plan for a meaningful and exciting retirement. There are so many good books and resources available on retirement planning and life planning, and I just want to mention a few. One is called Refire, Don't Retire, How to Make the Rest of Your Life the Best of Your Life by Ken Blanchard. It's an excellent book. Another is called The Artist Way, and it's a spiritual path to higher creativity by Julia Cameron. This is for those of you who maybe have an artistic and creative side to who you are and your passions. I would encourage you to read that. There's also one called Shifting Gears to Your Life and Work After Retirement by Carolee Duckworth and Marie Langworthy. And one that I have used heavily in this presentation is How to Retire Happy, Wild, and Free Retirement Wisdom That You Won't Get from Your Financial Advisor by Ernie Zielinski. I highly recommend it. It's a fun read. It's a very good overview of all of the things that make for retirement planning, not just financial planning. And also I want to mention our CMP Retirement Workbook, Your Next 25 Years, 7 Ways to Enhance Your Retirement Transition and Lifestyle Plans by Pam Vinay. And again, ask your career consultant for that retirement workbook, and you will find that a very good guide to use as well. So next steps. I would encourage you to take the financial planning webinar to help decide if paid work is in your future. Remember, we do have a financial planner named Wendell Brock who you can talk to and make an appointment with to discuss your financial planning needs, and I highly encourage you to talk to Wendell. Next, you can register for the career assessment webinar, then complete the relevant assessments in Career Workspace. You can also read CMP's Retirement Workbook and do those exercises. You can take the LVI assessment and log in to that www.lifevaluesinventory.org site and follow the instructions. You'll be receiving a report upon completion of the questions, and you can share those results with your consultant and your family, which I think will be a very productive discussion. And don't forget to create your goals and daily action steps for yourself and share them with your consultant for review and discussion. Again, I want to thank you so much for attending the webinar today. I want to reiterate that retirement has changed dramatically in our lifetime, and there are lots of options to consider: full-time retirement, semi-retirement, contract work, and many other options. Remember, we want you to have a values-driven life, which leads to a meaningful life, which then gives you a sense of well-being and fulfillment in retirement. I encourage you to listen. Listen to yourself and honor your innermost thoughts and callings. And finally, write those goals down, then add them daily to your action plan steps and add them to your calendar to make your dreams come true. I want to thank you so much for attending today's webinar, and I wish you all the best in your future. Thanks so much.